You always hear that moms would do anything for their kids. But what happens when a kid has to do something unimaginable just to make their mom happy? My family story blew up our entire lives, and it all started with my reckless older brother, Sam. Would you do something you hated to make your parent happy? Let me know in the comment section. Yes or not? My name is Jacob. I grew up in a row house in Manchester, in a neighborhood where everyone knew everyone else's business. My mom, Eleanor, was the matriarch. Her word was law, and her golden child was my older brother, Sam, by 4 years. Sam was charismatic, the life of every party, but also deeply selfish. Mom always made excuses for him. He's finding himself, she'd say. I just saw a guy who got away with everything. It started with a girl named Chloe. Her mom was a single parent, struggling to make ends meet. To help out, Chloe would come over to ours a few afternoons a week to help my mom with cleaning. Mom would send food and old clothes back with her. It was a kind arrangement, until Sam got involved.
Was Sam's behavior a red flag?
He started bumping into her, making inappropriate comments. I was just a teenager, but even I felt sick watching it. It made our home feel tense and wrong. The gossip spread like wildfire through our estate. You could see the curtains twitching when Chloe's mom walked past. Eventually, the poor woman stopped Chloe from coming round. She was being shamed for his behavior. Mom was annoyed, but only because she'd lost her help. After everything we did for them, she'd huff. She never truly held Sam accountable. Time passed. Sam graduated, landed a decent job in finance in London, and came back every weekend like a conquering hero. Mom decided it was time for him to settle down. Her brother, our Uncle Liam, had moved to Canada years ago. He had a daughter, Rebecca.
Is arranging marriage within family a good idea?
A flurry of passports and visas later, Mom dragged Sam to Toronto for a holiday. He came back engaged. Sam, being Sam, had fallen head over heels for the first pretty girl he saw. And Rebecca was stunning, smart, kind, with a calmness about her that our chaotic house desperately needed. We all thought, this is it. This will change him. How could it not? It didn't. The parties continued. Now it was client meetings in London that lasted all weekend. He'd stumble back to our Manchester home on a Sunday night, smelling of expensive whiskey and cheap perfume. Rebecca saw it all, but she never complained. Not once. She was so stoic, so quiet in her suffering. She'd just make him a coffee and go upstairs. Then the phone call. The one that changes everything. It was a hospital in London. There'd been an incident, a fight at a private club. Sam was critically injured. He never regained consciousness, a severe head injury. Just like that, my big brother was gone. The life of the party snuffed out. The house, which was always so loud with his drama, became silent. The silence was worse. And Rebecca, she was a ghost. A young, beautiful widow in a foreign country, wearing my mother's grief as well as her own. A few months after the funeral, Rebecca found out she was pregnant. It was like a light switched on in our dark house, especially for Mom. She latched onto that baby like it was a life raft. She called him Sam's second chance. When my nephew Leo was born, Mom wept and said it was like having a piece of her son back. She doted on him. Rebecca, she became the vessel that carried Leo, the connection to Sam, but not really a person in her own right anymore. Was Mom using the baby to replace Sam? 5 years passed. Leo was everything. Rebecca ran the house, cared for Leo, cared for Mom. She never went out. She had no friends here. One evening, I found her crying in the kitchen, looking at photos of her family in Canada on her phone. She finally broke. Jacob, she said, her voice barely a whisper, I need to go home. I need to see my parents. I supported her. I said I'd help with the kickets, everything. But when Mom found out, it was a nuclear explosion. You can't take my grandson to Canada. What if you don't bring him back? What if you meet someone there? He's all I have left of Sam. The worst part? She pulled me aside. Her solution, her desperate, insane solution. Jacob, she said, her eyes wide with panic, you should marry Rebecca. I felt the world tilt. Mom, she's my sister. She was Sam's wife. It would solve everything. Leo stays here. She stays here. The family stays together. I was horrified. Rebecca was family. I loved her, but like a sister. The thought was wrong. But Mom's happiness, it was this immense weight on our family. It always had been. The gossip started again. Mom, terrified of losing Leo, told our relatives, our neighbors, that Rebecca and I were having an affair, that we were running off to Canada together to get married. The lies were vicious. I saw the look on Rebecca's face when she heard the rumors, the betrayal, the utter loneliness. It shattered me. We had to do something. My sister Mia and I talked for hours. We were trapped. We couldn't let Rebecca leave forever, but we also couldn't let Mom be destroyed by losing Leo. So I made a choice, a horrible, no-win choice. I would ask Rebecca, for Mom, for Leo, for the fragile peace of this family. I wrote a letter to Uncle Liam. I explained everything. I begged him to consider it, to talk to Rebecca. I gave the letter to Rebecca to give to him, telling her it was for Mom about travel plans. Then I drove them to the airport. The goodbye was brutal. Mom was clutching Leo like she was drowning. I felt like a monster. In Canada, I gave Uncle Liam the real letter. He read it. His face was unreadable. He and Auntie Clara talked to Rebecca in private for a long time. Later, Rebecca found me. She looked tired, but resolved. Jacob, she said softly, you're a good man. The best. But I can't. I can't marry you. It doesn't feel right. Sam was my husband. You're my brother. I'm so sorry. I was relieved, heartbroken for Mom, but relieved. It was the right answer. The day came to leave. I said my goodbyes. I hugged Leo one last time, and my heart cracked. As I turned to leave, he started screaming. No, Uncle Jake, don't go. I want to go with you. I want to see Grandma. Mommy, please, let's go home. He was clinging to my leg, sobbing these huge, gut-wrenching sobs. Rebecca looked from his desperate face to mine. She saw her son's home was not here in Canada. It was back in England with his grandma, with his uncle, in the house he knew. And I saw her make her sacrifice. She took a deep, shaky breath. Okay, Leo. Okay. We'll all go home together. We got the paperwork done quickly in Canada. A quiet, simple ceremony. No celebration. It was a transaction. A pact for family peace. We returned to Manchester. Mom cried. She hugged Leo, then she hugged me. She never quite hugged Rebecca the same way again. To her, it was a victory. For me, it's complicated. I grew to love Rebecca, not with a passionate fire, but with a deep, abiding respect and care. She is the mother of my nephew, my partner in keeping this family afloat. We built a life on a foundation of sacrifice, hers and mine. And Leo? He's happy. He has his whole world under one roof. He never knew the cost. Mom passed away a few years ago. Peaceful and content, surrounded by her family. She got her happiness. But sometimes I look at Rebecca and I wonder about the life she gave up, the love she might have found for herself. She gave it all up for her son's stability, and I gave up my chance for love of my own, for my mom's peace. Was it worth it? For Leo's smile? For my mom's final years of joy? I tell myself yes, but I'll always wonder. So that's my story. We did the unthinkable to keep our family together. We prioritized my mom's happiness above our own. It's not a love story, it's a survival story. So, listeners, comment me below. Was our sacrifice worth it?